Right, so part two. I'm really getting quite excited about this project, and I really want to get on with it, but I'm still waiting for a lot of the bits to arrive. The laser cutting has only just been ordered. It's taken longer than anticipated because virtually every night I came in, I had a little tinker with each of the drawings and sort of did some fine tuning. And I didn't send it off because I just wasn't entirely happy with all the little bits. So as I say, I've tinkered with it virtually every night. It's finally gone away. So I'm hoping that that will arrive. What's it now? It's Friday now. With any luck, Monday or Tuesday maybe. Don't know. We'll see. Another bit that's arrived is in this natty little box. I don't know if you can see what it is. It's hardboard, but it's been laser cut. I don't know if you can see all these little pieces. It all interlocks, so it's a really clever design. Anyway, all it was the switch. That's arrived, so that's another piece for the puzzle. I'm not going to bother with a speed controller. I'm not going to use it enough to warrant it. If I was using it every day, all day, as part of my business, then yes, I'd probably put a speed controller on it. But as it's going to be used for the jobs that the other tools can't do, which might not even get used once a week, I can't see any point in putting a speed controller on. So I just bought myself a switch. Right, so because I'm still waiting for everything, there's one little bit I can make. It's the tracking wheel bracket. So I've gone ahead and done that. I hope it'll work, obviously, until the wheels turn up, and I get it all put together. I'm not going to be able to tell, but I've made this. It didn't take long. It was a quick sort of lash up of bits and pieces that I got kicking around the shop. So anyway, here's what I'm going to class as part two, which is basically just the tracking wheel bracket. So let's get on, have a little look. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to make the tracking wheel bracket. I'm going to use this bit of bright bar. It's about 12mm thick, I think. If we can have a little look. Bit of an off-cut that I've got from another job. I think it might have been from the dies for the guillotine tool. Yeah, 12mm thick. And let's have a little look. I think it's about 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches. 45mm wide. So that should do a treat. What I'm going to do is slice about 15mm off one end, obviously, and then two bits 15mm actually, and then a bit of 40mm, and then I'm going to bolt in at the top so that the middle bit can sort of swivel without hopefully too much free play, and that hopefully will track up the belt. So let's cut ourselves some bits off. You'll see I've got it flat rather than upright. It'll cut quicker and better, or quicker upright, but you'll get a much better cut doing it flat. If there's any sort of discrepancies, if your angle's a little bit out, you'll see it less doing it flat than you will if you're going straight up and down. So that's why I'm doing it this way. It takes a little bit longer, but the results are slightly better. Got another one. Love this tool. Don't know what I'd do without it. You see there's a bit of a jump there. That's this bright bar. It picks up onto the blade and it sort of sticks even with this lubricant. If you're not careful, if you don't let your hand come up when it bites, you can smash the blade. I don't know why bright bar does it. What's in it? Probably a bit of lead or something. I don't know. Bit of something in there that makes it grab. Come on, focus, focus, focus. There you go. Nice clean cut. Just a little tiny burr on the end there, which we'll grind off. So that's those two. Then we'll set it up for the bigger bit, which, as I say, I want about, I'm going to guess it about 40 mil. I think that'll probably be enough. The wheels are going to be 50 mil, so that will give me a little bit of wheel over the edge, but it won't be too much, because that will go over the sort of the bracket bits at the side. Again, that's jumping, catching. You just have to whip it out a bit quick. There we go. I'll go and get them cleaned up. Just take the little burrs off. There's only a couple of little nibbles. Right, so how's this going to work? So we've got, I love this bright bar with these lovely clean edges, much better than the old black. So I'm going to have it, this is the way it came apart, but obviously if I left it the same width, when it's up against the arm that it's going on, which will be something like this but obviously longer, that middle bit won't be able to move. Even if I take a little bit off the back there, it still won't move much. I'll have to take quite a lot off, and certainly won't go inwards. So if I turn these round, because they're 15 mil wide, and pivot it at the tops, it's essentially going to give us a gap, see, right the way through, which is about 2.5 mil, something like that. So it can actually go inwards as well as outwards, because you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to need it to track the opposite way. So I'm going to put some pins through here, use some bolts, and then some bolts through there into the arm that it's going on. So let's get it marked up and start some drilling. Okay, so got my odd legs. Just going to mark down the centre and then mark across the top for, that's your, going to be the pivot hole. The same on the other one. That's that bit. Now let's do, do the sides of that. So I'll have to bring that in a bit to get the middle of that. And mark down the centre of there, both sides. And then work out the distance down, because it's obviously going to be different from the centre of the other one. Transfer it to there, and that should give us holes in the same position, but both down the centre. Same position from the top, as it were. Do the same this side. That's those two. Now these ones I've got to have, again, close it up and run down the centre, because this is now going to be essentially sort of the front face, which will get bolted to the arm. Again, just bringing it up a little bit from where it would be if it was just the same distance as the centre, but just to get a bit more meat on the hole. And then I'm just going to roughly guess where I'm going to put the other one. Try and open it up. That's it, roughly there somewhere. A bit more maybe. Yeah, a little bit more I think. Yeah, about there, that'll do. That'll give me plenty of secure. Plenty to secure to. and just missed the top holes. So those are the fixing holes, those are your pivot holes. It will all go together like somehow like that. So let's centre dot them. I don't know what this bit of bar is. It's really hard, but it's a useless punch. I've lost my centre punch. Can't see the mark on that one. No, it's because it's upside down. Yeah, I lost my good centre punch somewhere. It's probably kicking around on the floor in the junk. And I've got this bit of bar. It's really, really hard. You can sort of, if you hit it hard enough, it'll snap. But it makes a useless punch. The end of it goes ever so quickly. I don't know what it is. At first I thought it was some key steel, but I don't think it is, being that hard. Right, do the ends of this one. And then we can go to the drill press and stick some pilot holes in. Right, I'm just going to stick, I think it's about, I don't know, 532 or might even be 8th. I don't know, it's 532 I think. Just a pilot drill through these. I set the bits up in this little hand vise. And I've put a bit of bar through the vise for it to sort of rest on. Up the speed a bit, put it up to high speed. That's better. So that I can push down on it and it's not going to push through or twist. So it's resting on another bit of bar. Drill these out. I could have gone to the lengths of winding the drill press table right up, and I've got a big machine vise under those lumps of wood, and set it all up in the machine vise, but do you know, it's such a fag to wind it up, and when it is wound up high I can't use the saw because, or can't use it for any long lengths because the table gets in the way, because this shop's badly organised, which is why I've got everything on lumps of wood. So I just lift the lumps of wood out of the way if I've got long lumps of steel that I want to cut off. It all works, sort of, but obviously if I was doing a production run that I needed to get stuff in the machine vise, then I'd obviously do it, but just for these couple of one-offs, it's just not worth it. Too much aggro. Let's set these up for the sides. So it's got a bit of a wobble on there, I'll have to hang on to that, I think, otherwise it won't be going in straight. Drop of cutting fluid. Someone's bound to ask. It's CT90 that I use. There's loads of different ones about, but the one I use is CT90. I used to use a paste of CT90, but now I buy it in liquid form and I can put it in the an oil can. It's much easier to dispense. Plus you only need a little tiny drop, and it really makes such a difference. If you've never tried it, I really recommend you trying a drop of cutting fluid or paste. Makes your tools last longer, and it just makes them cut so much easier, so much nicer, especially for tapping. It's a real treat. Let's sculpt that one. So we've got the 3 holes done on there. So I'll do the rest of them. I'll come back so I don't bore you to death. Alright, so I've got them all drilled, pilot drill. Now I'm using a M5 cap head socket screw thing, and so I'm going to 5mm clearance drill in here. So I'm just going to whip through piloted holes. You could have probably done, because the hole's quite small, you could probably have gone through in one go with the 5mm clearance, but it's just habit really. I always pilot holes before I put big holes in, and actually this drill's jumping about a bit, so it doesn't look like it's sharpened up particularly well, but it's going through. Yeah, piloting things is just something I've always done. So it's a bit of a habit now. So see if it'll go in. Yep, lovely. Just a tiny little bit of movement in there. Do the other one. I hope this goes together okay. Don't see why it shouldn't. If at the end of the day I find it needs tracking, not only in and out but sort of left to right, I'll have to put some sort of another adjustment on it. But right, so now I want to set these down, so I want to counterbore the holes. So I'm just going to find myself a drill that's about the head size, and as if by magic it appears 9mm. Just going to bore into it a little bit and see if that will fit. Look at that, lovely. Now I should have a proper flat bottom drill to sort of properly counterbore these, but I ain't got one. So this is going to have to do. And with it being slightly tapered in the bottom, that'll pull the cap head in quite tight, I should think, which will be quite nice. Look at that, lovely. Nice and flush, so it doesn't, because once this is bolted to the arm, I don't want it the bolt heads to stick out and interfere with possibly the belt. I don't think it will, because I think there'll be enough room, but you never know. And there's just enough now, a good ½ inch sticking out the back there to bolt it on with. Alright, so now, what am I doing now? Here, I'm going to put 6mm bolts through there, so I'm going to put a 6mm reasonable fit, because I want this to be tight-ish. Not dead tight, because obviously it's got to move, but I don't want any slop in it, so I'm going to put a 6mm dead drill through and see what happens. I can always open it up if it is too tight. I don't really want any slop, because that could cause more problems on the tracking front, I guess. And actually, it hasn't got to move very far. It's only got to go in and out. You know, probably, I don't know how far it's got to go. 1/8 either way, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. But so they're not going to be. It's not like they're going to be spinning around on these bolts. I think that's gone through. Let's have a little look. See if that'll fit in there. No, it won't go through because it hasn't gone through right. There's a burr on the back because it hasn't quite come through. Stick that back in. Go through from the other side. That's it. Let's have a look now. Yeah, lovely. See, that's a good tight fit. It's not binding, but there's no slop in there, and see, it moves quite freely. That's what I'm looking for. So at the end of the day I might have to open it up, but I want to start off with it sort of reasonably tight. Snug, I think is probably the word. There's probably an engineering tolerance number or letter or fit for that, but I don't know it. Alright, that's that one done. So that's that bit. Another one's nice and good fit. So now we've got to drill the that bit, and I can only find a broken 5mm drill because I'm going to put a 6mm obviously in there, so it needs to be a 5mm hole for tapping. I found this half is the only 5mm drill I've got is a broken one, so I've sharpened it up and we'll stick that through. Should do the trick. Right, bit of jollop. Line her up. Yeah, it's cut nice. That's okay. And once it's gone past the flutes, we've got to have to keep pulling it out quite regularly because that will bind up otherwise if the flutes fill up with swarf, and then it will snap or something nasty will happen. So it's just worth pulling it in and out. Once you reach the top of those flutes, clean them out, they're filthy. Full up, a bit more jollop. Go from the other side. I've gone from both sides rather than going through straight the way through like when I initially drilled it, because you can find over 40mm that it could wander. So you might go in at the right place one side and come out in a completely different place the other side, and that's just broken through into the other side, so it's met in the middle anyway. There you go. So now I'll go and find a tap, stick some threads in it. Alright, I'm afraid it's a bit dark up this side of the workshop, but I think you'll get the idea. A bit more CT90. And this is only an ordinary straight fluted tap. I generally like spiral point or spiral floats, but this is the only one of these I've got. I don't know where it came from. It's sharp anyway, it's cutting nicely. That's the other thing, this bright bar tends to cut nicely. I'm not sure what grade it is, EN32 or something or other, something like that. I don't think it's nothing special, it's not a hard like an EN8 or 16 or anything. Alright, that's one side. Again, so I'm going to go from both sides, try and get it level. Now I could have put this back in the drill press and lined it up in the drill press, but I can't be asked, so I'm just starting it very gently and then looking from both sides, making sure it's nice and upright in both planes, and then once it's bit, we're away. Bit more jossop. Can't beat a bit of lube. I suppose really I could have cut some of this out because it's pretty boring just watching me tap holes. Never mind, we're nearly there. There's a couple of other things I've got to do and then we're almost there. Homeward stretch. Right, that's that side done. Clean it out. Okay, so we've got the threads done. Now the next thing I've got to do is eventually I will put a hole in this for the wheel bolt, but I don't know what size it is because they haven't arrived yet, so I'm leaving that out for the time being. But I've also got to just take that edge off so that when it is on it will turn and not foul. So let's go over to the grinder and just quickly whip the radius onto that. This is my big Bertha. It's a brilliant grinder, but it has its limitations, which is why I want to make this other grinder, this belt grinder. Nearly there. So I probably don't need as much radius as that, but that will do it, I think. Let's have a little look. Focus, 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 focus. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. No, it's probably because I'm zoomed in and it's just not going to have it, is it? Let's zoom out a bit. Let's see if that'll... Focus, focus. Come on. There we go. Right, you can now see, just taking that radius off. We'll put a radius on it, taking that corner off. So, we can start putting it together, I think. I hope. Okay, so I've cut the bolts down because they were a little bit long, so they would have met in the middle. So I've taken about 3/8 of an inch off of them. It's still a good ½ inch. I put a tiny little thin washer on, not a very thick one, just a really sort of thin one. Just want a little bit of clearance. Do the same the other side. Like that on there. And obviously once I put this together properly, I shall Loctite those so they're not going to go anywhere, because I can't obviously do them up tight. I'm not counterboring them either because it wouldn't run properly on the shoulder, because I want it to run on that bit that's there. Alright, I can't actually demonstrate this now because it's catching on the bench. Let's see if I can figure it out. You can see that it's sort of down, so it's going both ways. If I can show you, it's bound itself up. Because you've got sort of 3mm either side, it can come in and out, which, as I was saying earlier, I think you'll need the ability to go both ways. You know, you'll think, oh, it'll go out, but you might want to go in. So let's see if I can show it a bit better. You can see there, it'll go inwards because there's a gap at the top there where it's gone in at the bottom. You can probably see, you can see there is a, you know, so it can go both ways. That's what I'm trying to get at. So that, I think, is just about it. It will go on a piece of bar similar to this, obviously longer. And I say, once I've got the hole in the middle there with the wheel on it, in the back, when it's on the bar, I'm going to have to put another threaded hole in the back there for the actual adjuster, which is something like this. This is one I found in a skip, but I've got a couple of these. It will go through the back. I'm going to make one longer, have the thread longer, and have a spring on there, quite a strong spring, so that hopefully it won't adjust itself with vibrations, so I can move it in and out and the spring will stop it undoing or doing up on its own, and it'll just move it in and out, hopefully adjust the tracking. That is the theory. Until the wheels arrive, I can't actually do any more to this bit. So there you go, nice flush fitting M5s, and with any luck that will work. Time will tell once we've got it all put together, but that's basically that bit made. So on to the next bit.